a guy by the name of Charles Martin Simon. He, in the olden days, designed what's called a foundationless frame, which is what this is. And you'll see it's got like a, I call it a chamfer strip. It's basically got a triangle piece of wood on the top. And the bees just locate themselves there and they draw the wax comb there. Because when bees make their own comb, they decide what size the cell's going to be. If you use a piece of wax foundation, say you buy it at LA Honey, its size is 5.7 millimeters. In nature, in the brood nest around here, the bees make the cell size 4.7 millimeters.
That's really
So you can usually tell if your bees are feral bees because they're small. Back in the 50s or 60s, man figured that bigger bees would do better. You know, like bigger pigs, and bigger turkeys, bigger other things. But it's not necessarily true. I've made all kinds of different kinds of starter strips. I've used cardboard, like this here. I've used tongue depressors. I've used, I don't know, I think this might be a stir stick from the paint store. I've used popsicle sticks. I've used that foam board you mount pictures on, everything. Now I just use popsicle sticks because I go to Michael's and buy 1,000 of them at a time. It works out really good. Now, is there people here that got starter strips they need put in today? Okay, great. So we'll do them later. So all a starter strip is really is for a place for the bees to start. Now, if you look in a hive, because I hear people, I get emails all the time and people call me and they say they put starter strips on their frames. They put the frames in the box, they put their bees in the box, but the bees did something else. They did it wrong. And
the bees did it wrong?
That's what they said. And I said, you know, the bees always do it right. Just some human gaping down into the void and comes up with the idea that it's wrong. So like I've even taken, and Dennis brought this stir stick here, I've even taken pieces of 1x and got them wet and just brushed wax on here and then peeled it off and put that in the frame and had a wax starter strip, which the bees like also. So the reason is you want them to make their own wax comb because then they can decide what size cell they can make and it's not contaminated. Because the foundation you buy from the supplier is contaminated because most beekeepers treat their bees for mites with chemicals.
What did the people mean by saying the bees did it wrong? What did they do?
Oh, they might go diagonally
Oh, they didn't like do a
or
nice
wobbly.
straight comb.
They might make them wide or thick. Yeah, I've got some pieces of plastic sheets that are for 4.7 millimeters. But after I brush the wax on there and have to try to peel them off and everything, I just use the starter strips and I defer all the work to the bees. It takes a lot of time because bees are pretty good at what they're doing.
So how far down do you want the starter strips to?
Oh, maybe an eighth of an inch is good enough. Yeah, usually like when I harvest the honey out of my beehives, I just take a bucket and I just cut the comb out and I leave maybe a ½ inch or an inch of comb in there so that they can just start there again and follow it. So I used to just wax the tongue depressors in, but if it gets hot, the wax can melt and they can fall out. So you have to wedge them in. It kind of depends on the who made your frame, because sometimes as the saw gets dull, this groove in the middle gets smaller, so they'll fit tighter. So nowadays, I usually do what Rob does. Is he glues he's gluing those in. So I then just have a little throwaway brush I use, and I just hold it over the pot. Being a beekeeper, it's all about your experience, right? So like you decide what kind of starter strips you want to make, how you want to do it, what kind of height, because it's like your experience. So you want to do what embraces that for you. So basically it should be a fun experience.